I love Tor. My man is smart. You see how he's 10 steps ahead of the rest of these losers? Toranaga. He's so smart. I love it. I love it. He's like, I'm going to use the hell out of you, Englishman. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Shōgun. We're now on to episode 2, which is called Servants of Two Masters. So the last episode was a lot, but it was fantastic. It definitely gave us an introduction to the world, what Japan was like at this point, and we were also introduced to our main characters. We had Lord Toranaga, who is apparently one of 5 lords that are running Japan at the moment. And he has one of the largest kingdoms in Japan. And because of this and other reasons, the other regents in the area are wary of him and they want him to surrender his lands because they just feel like he's too much of a threat. So Toranaga recognizes that this is a battle he wouldn't be able to win if he tries to go up against them. But as fortune would have it, a European ship ends up crashing on the shores of one of his fiefs. And this not only has a bunch of riches, which are helpful to him, but there's weapons, which in a war like this would definitely turn the tide. And also we have a surviving number of crew members, but in particular, one named John. And John, we were introduced to, he's British, he's Protestant, he's angry, he's pretty full of himself at the moment, but he's learning very quickly that this is not Kansas and he can't just walk in and tell everyone what to do. And he's been finally introduced to Toranaga, who had him brought to Osaka because he basically realizes that maybe if he can create an alliance with outsiders, people who might be able to benefit him, he might actually be able to not only at least keep his lands, but be able to secure enough power to ensure that these other lords can't come for him again and allow the rightful heir, who is the son of the last one or son of the last ruler, I should say, to actually get to the point where he gets old enough to take rulership for himself. So yeah, I'm ready to jump into this episode, but just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be notified of when I do uploads of this show or anything else you might be watching of mine, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that notification bell. And if you're liking this, please show some love with some thumbs up and comments. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's get into the episode right now. That's beautiful. The costuming in this has been top tier, by the way. A year ago. Okay, so this is when the last guy passed. Asking very real questions as a child. Why was the mother looking at Toranaga like that? Do you know how good your flexibility has to be able to bow while cross-legged? It's not easy, kids. That woman is young enough to be his daughter, at least. Again, with the look. Yeah, he's not Catholic. Okay, she's not a fan of Catholicism. Uh-oh. Oh, he liked you. Oh, no wonder the other lords don't like him. Ma'am. Those eyes. Endless perfection. I don't know about that. Looks like endless shadiness and plotting. Oh. Okay. Oh. No, let's leave Korea alone, okay? Is it his son? Is it his son? So he was offered. Huh. Exactly, which they ended up doing anyway. He's right about that, but they're still doing it now. Okay. 16. Wow. Barely a teen. Need to buy some time, I guess. Damn, from his enemies and his friends. That sucks. It's true. Most people with a lot of power, they say it's lonely at the top. And mostly because almost everyone's trying to gouge and scrape to get there. Oh, this intro is so pretty. It literally gives me so much peace.
Slaughtered and pillaged his way through Manila. A real piece of work, that one. Brutal, savage.
Someone will show this to the Japanese, and he will be hanged for piracy.
You think so, huh?
Despite the discord in Osaka, Toranaga is still president of foreign relations. He's a thorough man. I fear he'll want a complete translation of this journal.
Good man.
Perhaps a bit too complete.
Yeah, he's not gonna listen to y'all's lies.
This bush was on the verge of open war. The last thing we need is any discussion of past entanglements.
Entanglements? Is that what you call what you did?
These are critical times for the mission. He will see to it this man is not a problem.
And these are men of God. Really interesting. Yep. You knew they were here when you got there, bro.
You must be the Anjin.
What does that mean?
It means pilot.
Oh.
And I am the interpreter to the Council of Regents.
Oh, good. So you'll be able to twist my words in your Portuguese favor.
He's like, oh my God, how did you know? I'm flattered. Wow, sir, your hair.
I will translate without prejudice.
Well, seeing as you're so bloody honest.
The Japanese word for enemy is teki. Gesture at me and say the word. You will understand. But I am not your assassin. That you will do yourself.
He is being honest so far. Oh God, you don't want to get into those politics, honey. It's not worth it.
Because England refuses to be intimidated by Catholics.
No, you're not. Right? Please tell us how those two things tie in.
I cannot conceive of being an enemy to you, Lord.
He's like, yeah, I already know y'all. I've seen y'all.
Or surely I would die by the hand of a teki like you.
Oh, look at him already using his words. He's learning. Much better than when he landed. They're so rude. Wow, okay, that's just too much. Why are you in my business, bro? You should be looking for a barber. You sure?
What have you told him, you bastard? This is fucking great. Not make my point.
Dude, you need to learn to just... You notice how the Japanese are nice and quiet? No mumbling and back talk. Just take a little... Just read the room a little, bro. Just read the room a little. I know it's hard. No,
I protest this treatment!
That's cute.
I'm a guest of your lord, not a prisoner!
No, he said arrest you. This is what happens when you show up without an invitation, bro. I don't know what to tell you. That would be very different when you think about it. I know we don't think about it. Like, it blows my mind because growing up in North America, you just see all the different backgrounds. But imagine being someplace where you've never seen anyone who doesn't look like you. It's crazy. Wow, this guy's a buzzkill. To learn. Why didn't you ask him? Sure, put your son in that position. Your wife. Sit your miserable ass down and eat your soup. Keep slurping.
年をいっておりますれば、あの世へ旅立つ前にもっと大事にしていく。
The drama.
お前の大きな尻と同じじゃ。
あのや。
Oh, cheeky.
神を下ろして
What?
何度もなることござりまする。
I like this dynamic. They're funny. So I'm just wondering, did I understand that right? She's pregnant with his son?
あの偉人の方か。
あの者には用心せねばという気がいたしまする。
I agree, for now.
だからこの一件、殿の断罪と何の関わりがあると仰せでございましょうや。
I don't think you should explain the whole plan. Not yet. I don't trust all these people.
間もなくキリシタンの大老木山と王を通じてあの偉人を大坂に置くことに抗議してくるであろう。
Because there's one thing that Europeans can do is disrupt the hell out of your country.
殿に断罪が下されるのは残りの大老が結束して票を投じた場合のみにござりまする。あの偉人を用いて石堂とキリシタンの大老
That's
と
right.
の
Look at these two smarty pants.
嫁子の腹の座りようを
Exactly. He's like, catch up to the woman.
しからも誠に。
He's certain. But I mean, he's got to try something at this point, right? What was your plan? To sit and wait and die?
Are these men all marked for death?
Death is the only punishment here. They're Sugiyama, descended from the richest samurai family in Japan. Ono, a feared warrior whose affliction of leprosy led him into the arms of the church. And Kiyama,
Should I tell you something?
a man whose faith in Christ is guided only by his greed and ambition. All of them are in the palm of Ishido, caretaker of the castle.
With the most punchable face.
If Toranaga claimed you as an ally,
He's condemned
you'll
you to
never leave
death.
Japan alive.
Oh, you don't know Toranaga. You don't know him. You act like you know him. You don't know him. But I suppose it's good for John to understand some of the politics because that's something that I don't think the Protestants or the Catholics were going to tell him. Yeah. That's the ghost of the late Lord saying, I'm watching you, sir, and waiting for you when you show up in hell.
お世継ぎのお歳暮は江戸を離れる許しを得た。
トラナガは女が定めを受け入れたようじゃ。
Oh, okay. Keep underestimating him, please. Thank you.
その前に一つ片付けておきたいことがござる。異端者のことよ。
Mm-hmm.
トラナガが牢送りにいたしましたぞ。
It's not enough.
あいにく牢に入れただけでは足りないのじゃ。
Welcome to English games. European games.
我らはそのものの処刑を
Politely demand. Oh, I like that term. I politely demand you to do something for me. Oh, we're not voting until. Well played, Toranaga.
むしろ我らを貶めようと利用しようとしておるのじゃ。
I mean,
我らがデウスを侮辱し、
don't you mess with God.
そのデウスとやらに
Oh,
忠誠を
is it getting personal? Yes, start fighting.
デウスの皆において要請する。異端者の処刑が先じゃ。
Okay. Bless him. Poor guy. All right. See, you can't poke at God, sir. That's above you. That's above you.
It's nothing for you to fear now. You'll die a martyr. On the cross, perhaps.
That's what, you have to want to be martyred. Oh, that reminded me of Hell's Paradise with the covered face. Yeah, why did you
You
come?
came here to wage war.
Exactly. And you're mad because you're in prison?
You can't play their game. Their rules are too opaque.
You don't know me.
I've known 1,000 of you.
Damn. He said you're not special. But he's not wrong. Oh, God. Clean cut, though. You can't begrudge them that. But I will say this. He might be 1 in 1,000. Or, no, 1,001. Anyway, you know what I mean. He may not be common, but it's all about timing sometimes. And right now, this is the right time for him to be there.
You and Carlos have to get your story straight. He told me you had the manifest. Fuck off.
Sir, language. Oh, hey! I know you. What's your name?
Getting the old monkey's not long for this world.
The church is
Excuse
doing all
me?
it can to keep your business running on time.
You mean our business?
The way the church will get involved in messiness in the second the actual culpability comes on. Oh, it's your business. It's not ours. What do you mean?
I have more occasion to practice Portuguese, but it comes slowly.
To this day, you remain my best pupil.
It's because I'm smart.
Though I must admit my surprise. Seeing you yesterday.
Well, mind your business.
The dark thoughts you have confessed to me in the past. Are they still with you?
What, taking out her husband?
I've read his journals. Whatever your heart tells you about him, he is guilty of worse.
But what about what you guys are guilty of? Should we start tallying that up? We already know that book has the confession of your crimes too. Really? Maybe he just knows the people he can't trust. Trying to figure out some stuff. Really? But he saved your life. Is it? Are you sure? Because I don't think it is. But okay. You're trying to switch sides? Please do. Right now. Oh, now you want the barbarian. Okay, well, now the barbarian finally has power. I thought you were united.
Dear Lord, forgive me my pride.
Now you recognize all the pride you have. Do I look like I know where I'm going? No respect for the elderly. I was hoping there was a spy. Damn, these are some good archers. My guy, I at least get on my knees. Just in case I hear things whirring by. And I'm getting down. Oh, you didn't actually think he'd let you live. You guys could talk. I don't know what this one's going to do because I know he actually likes John. Or respects him at least. Mean, but you know what? You'll learn soon enough. Is he actually loyal? Or is he playing both sides, serving two masters? That's right. Yeah, fancy that. I agree. Right? My lady friend.
You speak Portuguese?
Clearly.
It's an honor to learn the language of my Christian teachers.
Catholic teachers?
And both Christian.
He asks about your country, your rulers and customs.
Quickly.
My master asks for you to draw a map of the world.
I love Tor. My man is smart. You see how he's 10 steps ahead of the rest of these losers?
The earth is round.
Like
a fruit.
Keep going. He's so smart. I love it. I love it. He's like, I'm going to use the hell out of you, Englishman. We what? Exactly. The audacity. That's the way they treat it.
I assure you their arrogance is unbelievable. Please tell him.
Pot, kettle.
To lay claim to any non-Catholic land they discover and to replace its government with Catholic rule.
This is a lie.
It's not. You haven't been outside of Japan.
Yes, I do.
キリシタンにあらざる天下人を追放し、仲間であるキリシタンの統治者を据えることと申しておりまする。
the truth.
お前は何を求めて火の元に来た？
Yeah, why are you here exactly?
My master says you should not war against the Portuguese in Japan. You are outnumbered, it is hopeless.
I was also told I couldn't make it here.
Unless I win.
己が勝てば望みはあると申しております。
He's like, ooh, the spirit. Okay, I like it.
安心に今宵は西の丸に泊まれと伝えよ。外は物騒じゃ。盗賊がうろついておるからな。
He looked at you when he said bandits, by the way. Straight in your eyes.
That battle armor was ordered specially by Toranaga-sama after he saw it in a dream. Its star goes back many generations, all the way to the Minowara Shogun.
It's beautiful. He doesn't deserve to sleep there.
These women can assist you in preparation for your bath.
Thank you, but...
You need to bathe again.
But that was some time ago.
Period.
What, two baths in a week? What, do you want me to catch the flux?
Take a damn bath. Nasty.
I would advise against speaking out of turn.
Exactly.
You will please address me as Mariko-sama.
Yeah, we're not friends. I'm married. Thank you. I hate my husband, but all the same. Filthy ear. Yeah, you stink! Perhaps? I think I may not. Seems like you're not telling us very much. Yeah, I may not stamp it just now. I hope you understand. Yep, he's like, you're up. Let's see how honest you are. If at all. That puts you in a precarious position, doesn't it, Pie Hat?
This cursed heretic doesn't even have the decency to ruin us slowly.
Why should he? His life's on the line.
Let this be my burden, Father.
Okay. I like it. The seeds of dissension have worked. Good job, Toranaga. Even though now he's got a bigger problem to fight with. Get used to sleeping on the floor. Another reason I could not be Japanese. I need a bed. I'm not built for floor life. You think someone's going to assassinate you, don't you? Don't rip through the door. Okay. I thought he was going to punch through the door again. This girl is a badass. I gotta say, she moved quick. He was ready for your ass. Woo! You are so hot. You're still so hot. You're bleeding out. Wow, she is determined. I give her props. Bleeding out from the neck and still like, I gotta try to finish this. Ooh, the way he's like, you're gonna die slow. Damn, she did a lot of damage though. Not this time. This wasn't a Shido. He would come himself. Came for him. See, my man is a genius. Keep up. This man is smart. This is why they was ruling stuff while Europe was still trying to figure out where the hell it was. That's a great shot, though. So much for that Zen garden, though. I think that ruined the whole energy, huh? Ooh, that was a good episode. That was good. Okay, guys, that was episode 2, and that was really good. We're getting into the thick of it now. We're getting into the plot. We're getting into the details. The first episode was very much focused on world building, introducing us to characters, introducing us to the landscape, and really kind of letting us know where the conflict kind of starts. But since this episode, now we know that it's become so much bigger than that. This isn't just about Toranaga trying to defend his own lands and keep himself from being assassinated and his family. But also now he's recognizing that the Portuguese Catholics have been slowly but surely trying to set up little bases in and around Japan, start getting some fealty, converting some people, but all of that with the ultimate goal of at one point overtaking Japan completely and turning it into a Catholic, like basically a Catholic state. And at that point, anybody who tried to resist would be taken out, and everyone would be forced to Christianity as well. And this is really where John comes in, because this is why the Protestants were such a interesting group back in the day, and why they were so militant, and why this war was going on in Europe for so long, because they didn't agree with the forced conversions that Catholics at that time were trying to push. And so anyway, what I really liked about this episode is we started to really understand why Toranaga is that guy. It's not just because Toranaga has the most land or is potentially one of the wealthiest ones there. It's because he comes from this clan, which we still don't know the whole story on the clan. What was it, Mora? Oh goodness, I know I should write these names down. But yeah, the clan that he comes from apparently was somebody that had a lot of respect and was revered already in Japan. So they're already feeling like that gives him like this special reverence, I guess, from most of the people around him. But really, the reason they should be worried about him is because he is clearly a very smart man. He is a strategist. He is thinking 10 steps ahead when they are looking like tomorrow at most. And we saw it last episode, right? Toranaga knew. He already knew what they were planning before he even left for Osaka. He already knew, as we saw in this episode a year ago, when the last lord was on his deathbed. And the Lord said, listen, I think you should be named as the next Lord. Why? Because clearly Toranaga has shown that he is a man of integrity and a man of honesty and a man that would actually protect the young prince until he got to an age of being able to take the throne. But Toranaga already said, if I do that, the other four, they're going to come for me immediately. They're going to take me out. They're going to take out your son. That's not going to work. Even the Lord was like, yep, nope, now that you say that, that does make sense. Yep. That's not going to make sense. So then he had this backup plan, which it looks like the late Lord and Toranaga actually thought very similarly. And that's why they respected each other. But yeah, we see that that's why the late Lord created the Regency, to basically spread the power 5 ways and ideally keep anyone from feeling like they can take over, right? What did Toranaga called it? A political stalemate. So it worked kind of, but it looks like not even a year, right? Barely a year. And it's already falling apart because we've got people like Ishido, as we've now, some of the names are coming from me now. Ishido is the main one who wants Toranaga down. And I'm not sure what his issue is. We have to learn more about him. We've only learned so far that he's the one who's spearheading this whole operation. But anyways, we see that from the get-go, he was not happy about this arrangement. And I still think there's a little something interesting going on between the wife of the late Lord and Toranaga. We'll get to that in a second. But anyhow, back to how Toranaga is a genius. We see that from back then, he's always someone who thinks quite holistically, quite strategically, and also smartly. It looks like he has had spies in Osaka and probably all over different parts of Japan for some time, because he realizes that there's no way he can know everything from his corner of Japan. So thankfully, these spies, from the sounds of things, these are good spies, because it doesn't look like anyone in Osaka even realizes that they're spies. I mean, they just figured it out, because the whole thing about the ship got back to him in Osaka. And remember the guy with the cut over his face. I can't think of his name right now. He's shady. But anyway, he was the one who kind of figured out, oh, there has to be a spy here, because how would Toranaga, who's thousands of miles away, know about this ship in here? Like that news got to him way too fast. So anyways, that one guy does know that Toranaga definitely has spies of some sort, but again, I don't think he necessarily knows who the spies belong to. But my whole point is I'm very impressed with the fact that Toranaga is playing chess when these kids are playing checkers. He's got people everywhere, and he also clearly has a very good instinct about what might be coming next. Now, coming back to this man who, the one with the scar over his face, can't think of his name right now. The whole episode was called Servants of Two Masters, right? So this man looks like he was trying to endear himself to Ishido, but we see that he actually ended up helping Toranaga in this episode. And again, is he helping Toranaga? Is he helping him? It sounds to me, if I understood that right, it looks like he told Ishido that he was going to have John Blackthorne transferred to another place, But then, of course, he also planned the ambush of the men to make it look like something happened and John was kidnapped or taken out. We're not sure yet. But, oh no, just kidnapped. That's right. So he made it look like someone came in and kidnapped him. But I'm thinking there's no way that it wouldn't have come back to him, though. So maybe he is still working with Ishido. I'm not sure. But I get where that guy's coming from. I don't like him, but I do get where he's coming from. He's just like, there's a power struggle going on right now. It's either going to be Ishido who's going to be in charge or it's going to be Toranaga. I don't want to be on the wrong side of either of them. But there's an expression that says, you know, if you walk on the fence, you're going to get shot from both sides. Yeah, that's what's going to end up happening with him if he doesn't pick a side soon. But anyways, it looks like he's sticking with Toranaga. And I think after this episode, he definitely will, because now Toranaga has the most information. And we'll see whether or not, it really depends on whether or not this guy is a true patriot or self-serving. Because if he's a true patriot to Japan, he's going to want to stop what the Portuguese Catholics are planning. But if he's just thinking about where the money might be, he may go back to Ishido or somebody else who has got the deepest pockets, or the deepest pockets, and who can offer him the most power, one or the other. But anyhow, that turned out to be helpful as well, that Toranaga had this guy, because he was able to find out that Ishido has interest in him and that he's going to have to keep Blackthorn close. Otherwise, he's either going to get taken by Ishido or just taken out. And so I thought it was really good seeing that whole scene where he brings John, and we have Mariko, who we're going to talk about in a minute. I love her. And he uses Mariko as the and that's the other thing. The other thing that shows us how smart Toranaga is that he brings in the priest to translate, but he knows for a fact that these priests may be lying, that they could be circumventing the truth. So he brings in Mariko, who he knows speaks the language, and she's like the check. She's the one to let him know, is he really translating word for word, or is he taking some creative liberties? So again, Toranaga's on it. He's on it. You cannot get past this man. He's sharp. So anyway, we see when he brings John there and he asks all the right questions. He's like, look, I didn't really necessarily want to have you imprisoned. I mean, I kind of did, but I feel like maybe you can be helpful to me. And I know that you're not going to want to help me if I mistreat you. That's the main reason that I don't want you in prison. But digressing, he gets straight to the point. He's like, tell me about the world as you know it, which is a very smart question, because clearly Toranaga has never left Japan. Oh, no, that's not true. That may not be true. They mentioned Korea. So it looks like they might have gone to Korea at some point. Yes, they did. I think they did. So outside of the East, I should say, he hasn't left the East. So he doesn't know the wide world. And as I said in the last episode, at this point in time, Europeans had way more exploration experience globally than pretty much any other country in the world, or any other part of the world, I should say. So anyway, he gets like, okay, he's like, you tell me where the map is. You let me know how Europe works. You tell me where England is. You tell me whether or not England is friend or foe. Like, give me your information that's helpful to me, things that are going to help make me smarter and have an advantage over the people that I'm going up against. And thankfully, John was very cooperative, because once again, he's starting to recognize that he could die like that. He's seen samurais cut men's head off twice now. So he knows it's no joke. So John gives him this valuable information and gives him a little extra as well, which we're going to get to the extra and how he gets to it. But basically, he explains that there is a base in Macau that's been set up by the Portuguese Catholics, and they have hired Ronin, which they didn't really talk about it in this episode. But of course, if you're familiar with the Japanese samurai culture, you know that Ronin are Japanese samurai that have defected from the samurai order. So basically they walk alone. They don't really go by the samurai code, but many of them have had the same training and some of the same belief systems. And all these men are working in Macau right now at the behest of the Portuguese Catholics, and they are running guns. And they're running guns to wherever the Portuguese want them to. So he lets Toranaga know that there is a base here, and that if the Portuguese Catholics decide that they want to actually square up, they actually have reinforcements really close, because Macau is not far from Japan. It's like, I think back then would have been maybe 1-2 days by boat, and they would have a bunch of people there, mercenaries and guns, and that would put a lot of Japanese people in peril. So this is of course news to Toranaga, and you can see he's absolutely like, what? Like, what? That's what's going on. That's not what they've been telling us, right? They've been telling us that they're here to spread the word of God, but really they have an ulterior motive. And we see that John tells them that the reason why the Protestants and the Catholics are beefing is because Catholics are trying to force their way into England. They're trying to force their religion onto English. And again, the base is the same of Christianity, but their form of Christianity is what they're saying is the only one that should exist. And England is saying no, and there's that battle going on. And in kind with this type of behavior, John lets them know that the Portuguese Catholics are going to eventually take over Japan, and anyone who decides not to convert is out, and they're going to be leading the country, that Japan belongs to them as far as they're concerned. So this is a triggering word for Toranaga, as it should be. He recognizes, okay, so what you're trying to say is they're trying to take over us, and we're not here to be overtaken. We see that poor Mariko does not like hearing this because she does believe in, she's a Catholic. She's been a Catholic for 14 years and she believes everything that the Catholics have been telling her. She's having a hard time believing it. And we also saw earlier on that one priest, the younger priest, was kind of telling her, oh, I've known you for so long, and that's why I'm telling you to look out for this guy, this Protestant, he's a problem. And now we hear that John in the end tells her the same thing, like, you don't know these Protestants, don't believe everything that they say, they have other ulterior motives. So now she's got two voices in her ear, one from something that clearly gives her comfort and something that she believes in, and then this person who's bringing a new perspective, but you can see she can recognize that he has no reason to lie. And she even asks him, can you swear on your God that this is true? And John's like, yes, like without hesitation. So now she's in a certain position. Obviously, she's gonna have to sit with this and decide what she wants to do. But again, just on a higher level, she doesn't have to not be Catholic just because these Catholics have chosen to abuse their authority and do things that are not right. But anyway, so yeah, I just really like how between all these different things, Toranaga has gotten so much information. He's gotten a good understanding of his opponents. He's got a better understanding what's happening outside of Japan. Like, he's just a really smart man, and I love me a smart man. Okay, I already love this actor to death who plays Toranaga. But I just, the fact that he's hot and smart, it's too much, y'all. It's too much. But anyway, speaking of him being hot, I mentioned before about the fact that the late Lord's wife and him, you notice in that flashback, she kept giving him them eyes. And at first I was like, y'all have a secret or y'all gonna talk later? But then we hear the late Lord say to Toranaga, can you believe that my wife almost was your wife? She almost married you. And he says, oh, I've never had an interest in pretty women, right? They don't matter to me. And I'm like, sir, that's not true. No straight man doesn't not care about beautiful women. That doesn't happen. Like, it has nothing to do with up here. It has to do with down here. But anyways, I just got this little inkling that maybe, just maybe, the late Lord's heir is not his biological heir. That maybe, just maybe, the reason why Toranaga is so keen on taking care of him and protecting him at all costs is because it's actually his son. I don't know. I'm thinking we're gonna find out later on that the two of them actually had a little something. And the reason why I didn't go anywhere is because then the Lord got an interest in her and he decided he didn't want to beef with this man. So he said, look, I ain't even trying to get in between all that. You just gonna have to marry him. But maybe the two of them still had a little something going on the low. That's why she had to go all the way to his house to go see a baby be born. Really? She had to go all the way there to see a baby be born? Maybe had a little knocking boots before she left? I don't know. Maybe I'm just stretching with that one. But then looks. They focused on that look twice. So I don't think that was for nothing. Anyways, that's just a theory that I'm throwing out there. But best no one find out. Anyhow, that's Toranaga. Other than that, we got a little bit more on Mariko this episode. We see that she is a woman who is aching for more in this world. And that was kind of brought out last episode as well, that she is very much being shrunken and compressed into this role of being a Japanese wife. And it's not what she wants. She's capable of so much more. She's clearly very smart. And she just has, you can tell, she's just yearning to have more in life outside of this role she's been forced into. And so we see now that she's being brought into these conversations and that Toranaga has decided to trust her as his official go-between between himself and John. And her husband is not happy, right? As a typical misogynist, he is boiling. He's like, why are you leaving the house? You have no reason to be outside this house. Why is Toranaga even talking to you, right? He's trying to demean her and take her down a few notches. And thankfully, she's not engaging him. She's just keeping her mouth shut, because in the end, Toranaga is above her husband, but I'm just hoping this man does not give her too much flack. I was thinking, because at first I was like, okay, she's married, but now that I see that she hates her husband, clearly, I still think her and John are going to end up in some sort of a thing. I definitely think there's going to be an affair happening at some point between those two. But anyways, now that we kind of get the stage of how her home life is, I get it. But she does have a kid too, so might get a little messy. But anyhow, and she was, yeah, even the way she was describing him, oh, his eyes are like the open sky, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, she's enamored. Anyways, so yes, we learn more about Medico. We see that she is definitely smart and she's shrewd. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how she becomes more and more a part of this whole plot. I can definitely see her role growing. And of course, I did see the trailer, so I know at some point she does have to fight as well. So I think we're going to see some really cool things from her. But I like seeing her start to slowly come out of her shell in this episode a bit more. And then was that pretty much it? Yeah, other than that, there was John. And John, once again, having a rough time, being thrown in prison. He meets another foreigner, I think is a Portuguese man as well. And this prisoner tells him basically a bit more about the lay of the land because John knows nothing at this point. He explains about the whole thing with the regents, what position Toranaga is in, basically tells him that Toranaga is not the man to align with because he's about to go down. And then also tells him that, and then he was the one who talked about Macau, right? And well, the both of them kind of ended up talking about Macau, but that's how John figured out that Macau was not a known thing here in Japan. And so he's like, that's my ticket. That's how I make sure that I'm useful to these guys, too useful to be executed. And that's when he ends up telling, we see eventually Toranaga about this and realizing that him and Toranaga actually have a common cause and that they both don't like the Portuguese and don't like the presence that the Portuguese have in Japan. And now there's this proof finally that Toranaga has as to why he shouldn't be trusting them. So anyway, that was good for him. And I like I said, that slowly but surely we're seeing John's pride come down as far as like the arrogance of thinking he belonged there, that he can talk to these people any which way, and slowly starting to recognize he's going to have to do things the Japanese way if he wants to continue living first and foremost, but also being able to actually get to a place of being respected and getting more freedom. And that's kind of what Medico was trying to starting to tell him when she was like, yeah, you need to stop speaking out of turn. You need to kind of mind your P's and Q's. And yes, you should pick up on the language, but I'll give him credit for that. He has been picking up the Japanese words that he can and using them immediately, which is going to definitely benefit him. So yeah, again, another great episode. I am a Toranaga stan. I'm just really loving watching this man work and watching his mind work. I love watching guys and girls who have this ability to just think 10, 15, 20 steps ahead and play these chess moves and just see how it all plays out, even down to knowing that they were going to send an assassin for him in the end. Like all that stuff. Chef's kiss. This show is really, really good. I'm loving it. And of course, I can't say enough about how beautifully it's shot, the costumes, everything. The budget was here and it's budgeting. I'm loving it. So yeah, enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please show some love and I will see you in the next episode.